Hello, Sarah. Welcome to our session. Today, we are going to tackle a social skill that many people, even native speakers, find difficult: how to interrupt someone politely and effectively.
Hello, David. This is a topic I desperately need. Just last week, I was in a team meeting and my manager was explaining a plan based on some old data. I had the new numbers right in front of me, but I was too afraid to interrupt him. I just waited until he finished, but by then, the conversation had moved on and I missed the chance to contribute.
That is a perfect and very common example of why this skill is so important, Sarah. The goal isn't just to be polite, it's to contribute effectively. Let's start with the golden rule of interrupting. Always start with a polite apology or acknowledgement. This shows you respect the speaker.
So always begin with something like, I'm sorry?
Exactly. Now, it's also not just about what you say, but how you say it. Your body language is crucial. Before you even speak, you can lean forward slightly and make eye contact. This non-verbally signals that you have something to add. Often, the speaker will naturally pause for you.
That's a great tip. So I can prepare to interrupt before even saying a word?
Precisely. Now, let's look at our first scenario: interrupting to ask a clarifying question. This is the simplest form. Let's practice. I'll be your colleague explaining a new project. I want you to lean forward, wait for me to take a breath, and then use a phrase like, "Sorry to interrupt, but could I ask a quick question?" Ready? So, after we finalize the marketing assets, we will begin the outreach phase, focusing on our primary demographic before leveraging our core synergies to maximize Q4 engagement.
Excuse me for jumping in, David, but could I just clarify something?
Perfect timing and a great phrase. What's your question, Sarah?
What do you mean by core synergies?
An excellent question. You see, you've stopped the conversation from proceeding based on a term you didn't understand. Now for scenario 2, interrupting to add an important time-sensitive fact. This is exactly the situation you were in last week. Here, you need to sound helpful, not critical. You can use phrases like, "If I could just jump in here," or "Sorry, can I just add something crucial?" Let's try it. I'll be your manager with the old data. So, as you can all see from last month's report, our user engagement is down 15%. Because of this, I have decided we need to...
Excuse me for interrupting, sir, but if I could just add something quickly?
Of course, Sarah, go ahead.
I just received the engagement report for this morning, and the new marketing campaign has actually increased it by 20%. The trend is now positive.
Bravo, Sarah. Do you see the difference? You didn't say "you're wrong." You politely presented new information that completely and helpfully changed the direction of the meeting. Now, for a trickier one: interrupting to politely disagree with an opinion.
This is the scariest one for me.
The secret here is a technique you could call agree, disagree, agree. You start by agreeing with a part of their statement, then you present your different perspective, and, if possible, end with something you both can agree on. Let's use our movie example. I'll be your friend. The movie was a complete disaster. The plot was predictable, the acting was flat, there was nothing good about it.
I can see why you'd say the plot was predictable, and I agree with you on that point. However, I actually thought the main actor's performance was brilliant and very moving. But we can probably both agree that the soundtrack was forgettable.
That was absolutely outstanding, Sarah. You used the technique perfectly. It softened the disagreement and turned it into a balanced discussion. Now, for our final scenario: how to interrupt a chatty colleague who won't stop talking.
This happens to me in the break room all the time.
Here, your excuse to leave must be undeniable. A vague "I have to go" is easy to ignore. Be specific. Let's practice. I'll be your colleague. And so I told my sister, "You can't just adopt another dog. You already have 3, but she never listens to me. And the new puppy is a golden retriever, which is cute, but it sheds hair everywhere, and my sister is allergic to...
Oh, that sounds like a chaotic household. David, I'm so sorry to interrupt your story, but I just remembered I have an urgent call scheduled in 2 minutes that I absolutely must prepare for. We have to catch up properly later.
Perfect. It was friendly, specific, and final. You gave a reason that cannot be argued with. You have truly mastered the art of interruption. Now, Sarah, if you, as a student who just learned all these rich details, genuinely enjoyed this lesson and found it helpful, what would you say to the people who have been listening in on our session?
That's easy, David. I would turn to our listeners and say, if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to master more advanced communication skills, please show your support by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Every single interaction helps us to create more rich and detailed lessons just like this.